But then the game starts. The game starts and Raya's shaky for the first 10, 15 minutes. Like, I was doing the watch along and I was like, this guy is shaking like me. He is shaking like a leaf. Like, he is definitely scared. His eyes are big. And he's just like, what is this? What is this swirls? Like, what am I doing? This is probably the first time that he's played against Manchester City when it mattered. I don't know if people actually thought
Where he
about
was
that.
where he was expected to win. Like,
Right.
or like yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think about that. Like, when he played for Brentford, it was a free hit. Like, they beat them, but it was a free hit. Like, if they had gotten smashed 6-0, nobody would have cared. But if
That
we
is
got smashed 6-0, it mattered. It mattered. And you can tell, like, he was a little bit scared. Like, he was shaky. Thoughts on Raya's first 10 minutes? Why that was happening? Did you feel like, was there anything in the back of your mind making you feel like, maybe we should have started Ramsdale? There's people saying that we needed to sub Raya off, that he wasn't any better than Ramsdale. What were your feelings like in those first 15 minutes? Because, I mean, if that Alvarez situation goes wrong, we're having a much different conversation today.
100%. This was the first game where Raya was tested with a true press, real press, a press where it was like, because like he's gotten away with that specific pass that Alvarez was able to deflect. He's done it multiple times, and when it goes well and he finds someone after that pass, we applaud him. And when it doesn't go right, it's like, oh my God, we should. And I feel like that's on my Twitter, people understand me that I am not result based. I'm intent based. I'm very much so like the reasonings behind the why. And City gave us a lot of issues in the build-up, a lot of issues to the point where we had to just start hoofing the ball because we couldn't get off our own half for the first 30
Yeah.
minutes. And I feel like as the goalkeeper, your job is like, because you are the first person, your job is find the first person that will then create the series of events to get us a good shot. So yes, even if you quote unquote find a player, if you put him in a bad position, doesn't really matter the pass. And that's it. Did it worry me? Yes. Were there moments where I'm shouting at my screen like, yo, what are you doing? Yes. But like Allison literally did something very similar that resulted in a goal literally this weekend. So it's like, are we now saying Allison shouldn't start? No. Great keepers make bad decisions sometimes. And for the magnitude of the game, it was kind of expected. I think my question for him was, how do you shake it off? Which is, I think, why you start someone like Raya. He's what, 27?
Yeah.
I think he has the experience of like, okay, yeah, I made a couple bad mistakes. Yeah, that could have cost us. But we have a full game remaining, and not to jump the gun, but that second half performance, if we sit down and actually dissect it, he was one of the main players that kept us in the game. Not just with the passing, but the high claims for some of the long passes he was able to get to Jesus, being that wide target man on the right hand side. I don't know. I'm a very big, if do the things that you are comfortable with and be strong in the convictions of why you're doing them, and I'm perfectly fine. So again, bad 20 minutes, he grew into the game and was one of the key factors in the reason we won. So I'm cool.
I mean, I'm trying to understand. So here's my thing is, I don't know what people expect. Manchester City are one of the best pressing teams in the league. Other teams get to be good, right? Like, other teams get to, have a tactic against you and try to stop you. Manchester City, one of the best pressing teams in the league, one of the best off the ball teams in the league. And also Spurs were very good at pressing. And so the idea that, like, they're not going to be able to figure that out and create a little bit of chaos around our, ability to pass out of the back was a little naive. Like, let's be serious. Like, they're going to try to press the hell out of a goalkeeper that's trying to play out of the back. Okay, that's what happens. Now, I do think he was shaky, and I was like, okay, you need to shake this off quick, fast, because we cannot concede like this. And I thought in the second half he was great. I think a lot of people took those first 20 minutes and really ran with it and forget that there was a whole 70 minutes after that where he was really good. And so, I'm looking at the performance as like a whole. And Mikel Arteta said this of David Raya's performance against Manchester City. He said, I think he was excellent. He can misplace one or two passes. I demand him to stop the ball when he needs to get clarity, to get understanding, to provoke the opponent. Overall, the way that he controlled the box, his aerials, how dominant he was, how he played, how high he played, I thought he was excellent. I love players. Y'all listen right now. Listen. Clean your ears out. Listen to this. I love players with big courage, and David certainly has that.
I love players with big courage, and David certainly has that.
Okay. So I pulled something that has always stuck with me since the season where we did not get top four, because it was the moment that I started to question Aaron Ramsdale, not his talent, but his bravery. And if he was going to be brave enough to play for a team like Arsenal. After we lost to Newcastle 2-0, and virtually that was the end of our top four hopes in that season, Xhaka said this after this game. He said, we came here to show a different game, but from the first minute until the 90th minute, we didn't deserve to be on the pitch today. I can't explain to you, we didn't do the game, what the game plan was, not listening to the coaches, doing our things. And then when we do our things, this game happened, what happened? It was a disaster performance. And like this, you don't deserve to play Champions League. You don't deserve to even play Europa League. It's very hard to take at the moment. I don't know why we are not doing what the coach is asking of us. This is what Granit Xhaka said after this game. Now, if you just think about that game and how it went, Newcastle were pressing us. We were backs against the wall. And Aaron Ramsdale, every single time we tried to play from the back, decided to hoof the ball long. And then they started coming at us. Now, think about the Brentford game. Just this season in the Carabao Cup. He was good backs against the wall. That's where he's at his best, when teams are on him. That's when he's at his best. But Mikel Arteta even said after that game that he was disappointed in the second half because we didn't control the game and we started to just go long and we lost control. Are people not putting the puzzle pieces together? Aaron Ramsdale's not doing what the manager is asking him to do. So Raya will continue to play even if he makes mistakes while doing what the manager is asking him to do. Being a goalkeeper for Arsenal requires bravery. You have to continuously play out of the back, be versatile with the way that you play from the back, and be brave even when you're being pressed, even when you make a mistake. So the idea that Raya should be dropped or he's not a good goalkeeper because he makes a mistake here and there, doing what the manager wants him to do, is just totally ignoring the point. We're going to play from the back, so we're going to make mistakes doing it, period. But if you don't even try, Mikel's not having it. This is not the first player that he's dropped or, replaced because they were not brave. It's not the first time. I've seen this before. So know your manager and listen. He's telling you exactly why Ramsdale's not playing, and he is justified in that decision. We won the game. Clean sheet. I don't know how people are still making this argument for, like, I get that we love Ramsdale. I think that's what it is, emotionally attached to him. But the reality is he's not doing what the manager is asking him to do. And he's become very tame and, like, weird with his passing, where as soon as he's pressed even a little bit, even when he's not under pressure, he's hoofing it long. That's not what the manager wants.
I think that people do not understand that Arteta is balancing potential with season expectations. I feel like there is a very interesting balance that we have to do because of the fact that we have chosen to build around young players, but we are Arsenal Football Club, which is a very weird, like, seesaw of, like, okay, I care about the future, but I want to win now. Aaron Ramsdale is 3 years younger and 2 inches taller than Raya.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he doesn't start today, Ramsdale, if he puts his head down and looks at Raya more as almost as kind of like this is like an internship, and I'm learning like, okay, this is actually what I should be doing versus what I'm doing now. I feel like he has the potential to be one of the best goalkeepers Arsenal's ever had. He has the potential. He has the time to sit there. Like there's the stat that like out of all the positions, goalkeeper is where you peak the latest. And
Yeah.
we have someone that has had 2 years experience with our team, has understood the magnitude of playing for Arsenal, and now has the liberty to be able to sit for maybe a year or two and really dig into like his development and become one of the best goalkeepers while Arsenal is continually getting better each year. So I feel like it's very easy for people to think of the now and think of like, oh yeah, he's not playing right now, he's not good, just get him out of here. Versus Ramsdale's good, Ray is better, but Ramsdale has the potential to be better than Raya now if he puts the work in. And that's how I look at it. So
Yeah.
potential versus expectations.
And it's one of those things where I feel like people, when I've said that I think Raya is the better goalkeeper, which I still feel that, like, you guys, I'm not going to change my opinion on it, that I'm saying that Ramsdale is crap. It's not what I'm saying. I think
Bingo.
he's young and very talented, and he has his whole career ahead of him. But the idea that he's like perfect at this stage in his career, like, let's be real. Like you said, goalkeepers peak late. So he still needs some work, I think, mostly on the mental side of the game of doing what the manager is asking to do, even when things get difficult. He's a very good shot stopper. We know he can play with the ball at his feet because we've seen it, but he's inconsistent. And so Arsenal brought in somebody that, I mean, immediately threatens his position because he's somebody that has worked with the goalkeeper coach before. We wanted him before we wanted Ramsdale. He's older and more experienced. But I just think that this is something that Aaron needs to, use as motivation. And then when he plays in the Carabao Cup, when he plays in the FA Cup, whatever it may be, comes in for Raya, maybe if something happens to Raya or whatever, he just takes advantage of those situations. Because at this stage, I feel like we are making the right decision, but I'm also not convinced that that means that it's over for Ramsdale. Like, that's not how I feel about it. I think Ray is the kind of the number one right now in certain competitions, but it's it's still on the line there. I still think it's on the line. It's in the balance, and it's a difficult one because I love Ramsdale. I love Ramsdale, but like, we gotta win. We gotta win games. We need to get clean sheets at home. So that's what happens. But